It's time for another Football Manager rebuild, and this one is exciting. We've been doing ones in England and Germany recently, but today we're flying a little further ashore, heading over to Turkey to try and make Fenerbahce a Champions League winner. That's right, we'll be giving ourselves 5 years in FM24 to try and deliver European glory to the Turkish giant. Turkey is a nation mad on its football, but only one team has delivered European success, and that was our rivals Galatasaray winning the Super Cup and the Europa League back in the 2000s era. So we are going to try and change that and deliver some European silverware. But competing with the elite clubs in European football is going to be tough when our best players are either not very good or aging, like Edin Dzeko. Dusan Tadic is one of our best talents, but again, hasn't got many years left of his career. And other than that, we've got players like Fred, who are probably great players for the Turkish divisions, but might not be the quality that we need to try and win the UCL. But we do have some up-and-coming talents in our ranks, like 24-year-old Polish attacking midfielder Sebastian Szymanski, and 23-year-old Turkish fullback Ferdi Kadioglu here, who is wanted by Juventus already at the start of this save. Financially, there is nothing in the wage budget and about £8 million to spend, so we're going to need to sell players if we want to bring players in. And there's £33 million in the overall balance, with £200 million of debt that we'll be looking to clear across the course of this rebuild. On top of that, our facilities aren't great, nor are our academy coaching or youth recruitment. This is a team that produced Arda Güler very recently, obviously lost him, but I don't think we'll be seeing many great new gen players coming up out our academy in this current state. The Turkish top division title has been spread around a bunch of teams recently, but it's been a decade since Fenerbahce have won it, and we'll be looking to change that in the 5 seasons that we're here at the club. Before we get stuck into the rebuild though, if you guys could do me a massive favour, I'd be very thankful. We are trying to push currently for 30k subscribers by the new year, but it's going to be very hard to get there. Saying that though, a big portion of you guys watching, I'll put it on screen now, aren't currently subscribed. So if just a few of you could go ahead and scroll down, check if you've hit that button. If you haven't, click it. It's free to do. It would really help us to get to that target. Don't forget to like the video as well whilst you're there. That will really help the video's performance. And comment down below who you want to see rebuilt next. Every rebuild that we do is based on your guys' suggestions, so make sure you let me know in the comments who you want to see. And finally, if you want to continue this rebuild yourself or just support me as a creator, I have a Patreon linked in the description down below where we upload the rebuild files for every rebuild that we do, season 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, so you can pick up whenever you want and continue the rebuilds. It's been great to hear some of your guys' stories so far, but don't worry, that's all of the plugs done, so let's get into the transfers as we try and make this team our own. Okay, so not much that I could do in this first transfer window with our limited wage budget, but I did manage to move a few players on that I didn't expect to get much game time. Firstly, Serdar Aziz, a Turkish centre-back who's been around the club for years, wasn't playing much last season. We've decided to move him on for a very small fee of 62k, but it gets his wages off the books. And we've also moved on the midfielder, Mert Hakan Yandas. Now, apologies, by the way, for all of the pronunciations in this video. I'm doing my best with these Turkish names, but it does not come natural to me. He's moved to Lech out in Italy for 1.5 million, potentially rising to 2 mil. Another one that I didn't see getting much game time. So we thought, you know what, let's take some money for him and get him off the wage bill. And that gave us enough cash to bring in one signing. Now, we only sign players that our scouts recommend in these rebuilds, but we have got very lucky here because Valentin Barco is an unreal talent who we're delighted to have. He's one of the best young left backs in the game. We've signed him from Argentinian side Boca for £8 million. No additional fees on that either. Left back was an area that we were really lacking players in, so I feel like Barco will come in and really take that position and make it his own over the next few years, and hopefully we can then sell him on for a profit. Realistically, Fenerbahce here, we're not going to have much pulling power when it comes to the financial side of things, so we need to buy him young, sell him on for profit, and use those funds to keep improving our squad if we want to reach a Champions League title in 5 seasons. Tactically, I'm looking at playing a 4-2-3-1, a little bit away from the standard 4-2-3-1 though, because I've gone with 2 Segundo Volantes on the support duty in that midfield area, so we'll see how that works for us. But let's run through our best 11 just to introduce you to the players. We've got Lavakovic in goal, who is Croatia's national starting goalkeeper. We've got Mert Mulder at right back, who's new to the club, having signed from Sassuolo. We've got Becao at centre back. He is a Brazilian defender at the age of 27. Luan Perez as well, a 29-year-old Brazilian who's apparently not available to play club football for a year. Did not see that. I don't know why that is, but we haven't got him available by the looks of it. We've got Kadioglu, who can play left back or right back, Fred, who you know already, and then Yuksek in the midfield, Ismail Yüksek, a 24-year-old Turkish international player, Cengiz Under on the right with Szymański through the middle, Tadic on the left, and then Dzeko up front. Under is the only player I haven't met. He is a former player from the Italian divisions, French divisions, and was even at Leicester at some point, but he's recently moved to Fenerbahce, and we'll be hoping he can tear this league up. Our new signings haven't really helped us in the season preview. We're still expected to finish second to Galatasaray, but we'll give it our best shot in this first year. We'll see what we can do. Obviously, the aim for the 5 years is to try and win some European trophies, but I think for year one, we want to try and compete for that Turkish division title and then start to push on from there. So let's see how we can do in our first season. And I must say, it's been a bit of a bittersweet season. We did win the Super Cup for the first time in the decade, beating Galatasaray, our rivals, in the final, which is great. We also won the Turkish Cup itself for the second year running, but unfortunately we did not win the league. We lost out to Galatasaray and Trabzonspor, didn't even qualify for the Champions League. We only qualified for the Europa League with 85 points, 2 points away from the eventual winners Galatasaray. It's not a bad season, but it's a very close top four with Besiktas in fourth and Galatasaray in first, only separated by 5 points. But the Conference League was our European competition of choice this season. We topped our group with 15 points, 5 wins and only 1 loss. That put us into the round of 16 where we got put against Ajax, arguably the hardest tie we could have really got at that time. They knocked us out 3-2. So the first season didn't go amazingly well, but it's a decent start. But at least from this, we can learn who our best players are. Firstly, Edin Dzeko was the player that had the best season. He is retiring soon. Fred, surprisingly, comes out as our second best. Ryan Kent chipped in with 16 goals. Batshuayi, the former Chelsea player, with 23. And Szymański in midfield getting 14. Tadic as well, contributing with 16 goals himself. So we really spread the goals around. But I think going forward, we need to start adding some star quality to this team to really take over the likes of Galatasaray and then hopefully start to beat those teams like Ajax in European competition. We've been given £25 million to do so with 120,000 in the wage budget. Let's see who we can bring in season 2. Okay, let's start with the outgoings. Firstly, our biggest sale was Michy Batshuayi, who, as you saw, had a great season for his last time out that attracted the interest of Premier League side Burnley, who have came in and paid 4.7 million to take him off of our hands. He scored 12 in the league last year, scored a few in other competitions as well. It would have been nice to keep him around and have him keep scoring goals, but when you get £4 million or so for a 30-year-old, I feel like it was the right deal to take. We've also sold on Slovenian midfielder Micha Zak, who is a 30-year-old yet again. He has gone to Saint Etienne in the French divisions for 1.3 million after a season with us where he only started 11 games. This is a weird one because I was quite excited to use him when I saw him in our ranks. This is Lincoln, a Brazilian midfielder who just didn't play for us at all last year by the looks of it. I don't know whether it was an injury issue or whatnot, but he was signed for 3 million, paid 21 games, didn't play at all last year, so we ended up selling him on back to the Brazilian divisions for 1.1 million. Now, it should be noted here in Turkey, there's quite strict restriction rules around how many foreign players we can have. So if a player isn't playing and he is a foreign player, it's probably best to try and move him on for the sake of the squad. And that was the case for the Portuguese midfielder Miguel Crespo, who has gone to Bologna. He's 27 years of age, played 28 times last year, but only 11 as a starter. And with the new players that we had coming in, it made sense to move him on. So we got about £1 million for him. Batshuayi and Dzeko's goals needed replacing up front, so we've gone for the Brazilian striker Marcus Leonardo, 21 years of age. He's came in from Santos for a fee of 13.5 million. With decent ability all around, I'll be hoping he can be the man to deliver us goals over the next 5 years. We also spent quite a lot of money on German midfielder Eric Martel, who is going to play in that Segundo Volante role for us in the midfield. He's 22, lowers the age of the squad a little bit, coming in from FC Köln out in Germany. He's cost us 12.75 million. We're paying for potential as well as ability, so hopefully, fingers crossed, the German can come good for us in that midfield spot. But he'll be competing with our new signing, the Czech international 25-year-old Ladislav Krajecki. Now, he can play centre-back or he can also play in that Volante role as previously mentioned, and he is a very good player to pick up for 5 million after a great season for Sparta Prague out in the Czech division. And we also had to sign a right-back because one of our best players that we were building around, Ferdi Kadioglu, had a release clause in his contract which was activated in January of last season by PSG, 17.25 million. He's great for us and now he's gone on to be great for PSG as well. It's sad to lose him, but we couldn't do anything about it. We were powerless, so we say goodbye to him, and we needed a new right back because of that. So in came Milan van Uwijk, who is a 23-year-old right back option, joining us from Championship side Coventry. They signed him from the Dutch divisions for 3.4 million. We've signed him a year later for 13 mil. Obviously, that's a big markup for the English side, but I do think he's got everything he needs to be a successful player here, and he comes in as one of the best in his position in our team. And if we now look at our best 11, it's starting to change a little bit more to be like the team that we want to build, with Lavakovic in goal. We've got Mulder, Bekau, Perez, and Osterwolde at left back. Jaden Osterwolde, this is a Dutch 23-year-old who can play left back or centre back. So none of those players are ours just yet, nor are Fred or Yuksek, nor is Under, Szymanski or Tadic, but Marcus Leonardo is the first player that we've signed to make it in to this best 11, and there's a lot of players on the bench now that we have brought in, whether that's Barco, whether that's Kreki, Uwijk, or even down here somewhere we should find Eric Martel. There you go. We're starting to make this team our own, and I'm hoping in Season 2 we'll see that play out with a positive result. And those new signings have also led to us being the title favourites for this season, so fingers crossed with our new players in, we can make our mark on the division and pick up that league title in Season 2. Now, I have skipped a little bit too far ahead in our simulating here, so the screens will look different, but this is what happened in the second season. We delivered that Super League title. We beat Galatasaray by 6 points, only drawing 4 all season and losing 4, with 94 goals scored and 30 against. We got an insane goal difference of 64 as well. Totally dominant in the top division here in Turkey, and hopefully we can continue that for the rest of the rebuild. In the Europa League, we made it to the knockout playoff rounds. We came out of the league phase, but then faced off against Sporting Club de Portugal, who beat us 2-1 on an aggregate victory, which meant we did crash out of the Europa League right then and there. We were knocked out in the 6th round of the Turkish Cup by Galatasaray 2-0, but we did beat them 3-0 in the Super Cup, so it's a little bit swings and roundabouts here. So that was a league title and the Super Cup, so we did the double in Turkey. Unfortunately, no Turkish Cup for us, and also we did not make it to the round of 16 in the Europa League, but there's time to build on that. Marcus Leonardo was one of our stars of the season. The Brazilian striker hit 21 goals in 32 appearances, filling those boots that Dzeko and Batshuayi had left him. And surprise of the season might be the Dutch right back Milan van Uwijk here, who came in and in his first year got 11 assists with a 7.14 average rating. And our other top performer that has actually quite surprised me is Cengiz Under, who's really took the Turkish league by storm in this second year here, with 13 goals and 8 assists, a 7.27 average match rating, really helping us towards that title. So that was our second season done and dusted, but with our league title and the Champions League coming up, we had a lot more money to spend, and that led to some big transfers in Season 3. Before we show you the transfers for the third season, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying. But also, just to let you know, we have a Discord linked in the description as well. That is somewhere where if you're a fan of Football Manager, you can come over, whether that's just ask for help on the game or share your save. It's a great community of people that we've built over there. Over 700 members, completely free to join. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, make sure you check that out once this video is done. Now, this transfer window, we lost a few players against our will. Firstly, we had Dominic Lavakovic, our goalkeeper. He's moved to Borussia Dortmund now to be their number 1, I'd assume. £8.5 million was the fee for a keeper that's played quite well for us, but he goes there actually to be a backup. So, you know, fair play to him if that's what he wants to do, but I feel like he's made a mistake. And we're also losing the performances of Fred, who said he wanted to leave when the offer came in from Nice in France, so we let him go. He did play less last year, mind you, but still started 20 matches, so it is a shame, but off he goes for 3.2 million. We also willingly moved on one of our centre-backs, the Ghanaian 30-year-old Alexander Djiku here. He has gone to play for Fulham for 1.9 mil. And we say goodbye to Dusan Tadic after another great season for his last time out. He's now moved to finish off his career out in Saudi Arabia for free. So we needed some new players and we went crazy in the transfer market, bringing in some real talents that I think really up-level our team. Firstly, our goalkeeper. We've got one of the best young goalies in the world. It's Guillaume Restes, who joins us from Toulouse out in France in the first division, where he has been exceptional. We've paid £20 million for him, potentially rising to 22, which I think could be a bargain for how good of a keeper he might become. We've got some help for Marcus Leonardo up front, signing the Turkish striker Bertug Yildirim here. He joins us from Nice in France, who are the ones that signed Fred from us. We've paid them £6.5 million for a striker that scored a lot for the second division of Rennes, then got his chance in the first division of France and did fairly well when called upon, caught the eyes of our scouts, and now he's joined us. We got a free transfer in Dennis Mann, who has got some pretty cool earrings in his image there. He is a Romanian winger that we have signed from Parma for free, formerly of Basel as well. This man is someone that I think can offer us a lot of ability on that right hand side, cutting in to that left foot. I think he's going to be a top talent for us and really up levels our wide areas. And we've also got Mere Demiral as a free transfer. The 27-year-old centre-back is one of the national team's most experienced players. He joins us after some time out in Saudi Arabia, formerly of Fenerbahce back in the day, made his way around with Portuguese divisions, the Italian, then got a big move to Saudi, and now he's back here with us in Turkey to help us win another title. But he's not alone. We also have another Turkish talent joining him at centre-back. We have signed Serdar Sachi here, the 22-year-old defender who's 6'3" with great physical ability and great defensive ability as well, coming in from Braga in Portugal for a pretty big fee of 20 million. But look, I think he could be the future of our backline. He's a Turkish national as well, soon to be an international, I am sure, and I really do think he is one of the best we could have got. I'm trying to sign some Turkish players during this rebuild to try and keep that element in the squad, and our best 11 is now looking very, very talented in my opinion. If we have a look now, pick without restriction. In goal we've got Restes, at right back we've got Uik, and then at centre back it's Demiral and Bekau with Osterwolde at left back. In midfield we've got Kreki and Yüksek with Under on the right, Szymanski through the middle with Kent on the left and Marcus Leonardo up front, with plenty of great talent on the bench as well. If we have a look at the season preview, I'm going to guess we're still predicted first. We are, and we're actually odds-on favourite to win the title at evens, so we really are expected to win it. Galatasaray are the closest at 3-1. So our team is ready to go. We're in the Champions League this year, and hopefully we can start to prove ourselves against some tougher opposition. If not, it'll be a lot of lessons learned. So let's see what we can do in Season 3. And you know what? I'm going to take this as a fantastic season. Not only have we won the Turkish Cup, winning 6-1 in the final of all things, we also won the top division, beating our closest challengers by a huge number of points. We got 96 points, and actually I've just noticed we went invincible. We won the league title invincible with Fenerbahce. That is incredible. The Super Cup, we were runners-up. Then the Champions League, we did okay. We made it out of the league phase, which is something I probably wouldn't have expected. We came in 20th place with 10 points, 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw there against Ajax. That then put us into, I assume, the playoff round, right? We would have had to beat someone. We did. We knocked out Porto 6-4, so we're competing with these Champions League level sides. Unfortunately, though, round of 16, Barcelona knocked us out 3-1 on aggregate, which is not a terrible result at all. And I definitely think this is progress. We are moving forward here. Arguably, if we were in the Conference League or the Europa League, we might actually be able to win it. But the Champions League, we are up against the best of the best. So it's going to be very hard. It's great to be there in the UCL, but it's also going to be the hardest one to win. But we're going to try and do it. We've still got time here at Fenerbahce. Ryan Kent was our best player in the season, scoring 13 goals. Szymanski got 21. Leonardo with 29. Dennis Mann with 13. Yildirim coming in with only 15 starts, but 18 goals in his first year at the club. Well done to him. We've got loads of players contributing across the pitch, loads of great performances, and that is exactly what we want to see from our unbeaten, from our invincible Fenerbahce side. Financially, we do have a negative balance, but we've been given £36 million to spend next year. The debts and loans have only got a little bit worse as time has gone on. But look, we are delivering success, and if we can consistently stay in the Champions League, we can start to recuperate some of that money. So I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. We also still need to work on our facilities a little bit to give ourselves the best chance of developing some young talent at the club, which we're not really getting too much of. But that's been a much better season for us. We're 3 years in, and now we've got 2 seasons to go. So let's see who we can bring in our penultimate season. Firstly, we've had some big sales straight away, flipping some of the talent that we signed last summer. Yildirim here, the striker that I mentioned that we signed for 6.5 million from Nice, like I said, did well, scored 14 goals, and straight away Al Hilal came in for £30 million. He wanted to go, he's getting offered a mega contract. So we have developed Turkey's new national team striker, but he has now moved on. But we make some big profit straight away, and that's exactly what we want to see. And that continued with the sale of Demiral, who we picked up on a free transfer from Al Ali. He played well for us us for a year and now has moved back to Saudi Arabia to join Al Hilal for 15.75 million. Clearly, Al Hilal scouts have been to a few Fenerbahce games last year. And we lost another invincible with Ismail Yüksek moving to Damak, a team out in Saudi as well. He's moved for a fee of 7.5 million after some great years here. And we also say goodbye to Ryan Kent, who goes back to Rangers, where he came from when we originally signed him on a free transfer. Some great seasons for us, but he moves on now for 1.5 million. And with the budget we originally had, plus some of those mega sales, we had some cash to spend, and we bought in Jadon Sancho as our Ryan Kent replacement, which I don't think is a sentence I ever thought I'd say, but the 26-year-old was let go by Man United after some good performances there, to be fair, and we have picked him up as a free agent. Yes, he's costing us 125 grand a week, but I'm hoping he'll be worth it. Liverpool's Sepp van der Berg is going to be our Demiral replacement. The Dutchman has signed for us for 8.25 million. Never really played for them, but he is a decent talent. Our scouts liked him, and I'm hoping he'll be good for us. Aslani, the Albanian midfielder, 24-year-old with 33 international appearances. He joins us to be a new option in that Segundo Volante role, coming in from Inter Milan for 10 million. After a few performances here and there for them, we'll be hoping he can really settle here in Turkey. We lost one young Turkish striker for a pretty decent sum, so I've signed a new one here in the hopes we can sell him on for a profit in a few seasons. It's Kenan Yildiz, signing from Juventus. He's played some good years for their B team by the looks of it. We've picked him up for 10.5 million. I think he could be valued at more than that going forward. With 7 goals in 19 international appearances already, he's got a lot of potential. And speaking of potential, we have picked up Martin Bacerina, who is usually signed in season 1 by some of the biggest clubs in the world, but he wasn't in this save and he's just been churning out great performances for Zagreb. Our scouts keep raving, and for once I've pulled the trigger. 14.5 million pounds on him, 15 million pounds or so it could rise to, and that's for a player that can play on the left or through the middle as one of our best, with 4-star current ability and plenty of potential as well. And that leaves our best 11 in our second to last season looking like this, with Restes in goal, Uik at right back, Bekau and Sachi at centre back, with Osterwolde, Aslani, Kreki, Sancho, Szymanski, Bacerina and Leonardo really becoming a team of our own. We need to start getting some more players though, because we are looking very light now when it comes to the players in the squad, most of them being foreign as well, so maybe we just need some dev centre talent to be brought up into the first team, but it looks like there is none of it. But the team is ready now, so let's see what we can do in season 4. With a year to go after this, can we win the UCL? I think it's highly unlikely, but we'll give it a good go. And I must say, this season feels like a pretty big backstep. We did win the Super Cup again, but we lost a Turkish Cup in the final. We did win the league title, but only by a point this year, losing 5 games compared to our invincible season last time. That was going to be very hard to repeat, but of course this season, it's a lot worse in terms of that points total. And the Champions League, we didn't make it out of a league phase. This time, we finished all the way down in last place by the looks of it. We didn't win a single game, we only drew 1, and that's really disappointing from our Fenerbahce side, and I can't see why we've got so much worse, because I feel like we did improve the team, although looking at it, is there someone missing here? Is our striker missing? Or is he just not picked? No, he is there, but our goalkeeper is missing. Did our goalkeeper get signed midway through the season? Let's have a look. He did as well. It looks like we lost Restes to PSG in a release clause deal halfway through the season maybe, for £41 million. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice transfer fee to receive, but we have lost him now. He is PSG's starting goalkeeper as well, so clearly we had a big talent. He's starting for France as well now, but yeah, disappointed to lose our goalkeeper halfway through the year. We didn't really have another option, and that's probably killed our season off. Saying that, it's good to see Sancho performing well, getting our best average match rating across the course of the season. Leonardo with 26, but the goals have definitely dried up from around the pitch, so we need to add some more of those if we want to have a better final season. Financially, our balance is now positive, thankfully, and the debts and loans are starting to tick down. We've got £77 million to spend, which is great to see, and also we have been upgrading some of the facilities at the club over the last few years to try and get them to a better level. So we've got 1 more year to go. We need to make the right transfers if we want to compete for this Champions League. Bear in mind, we never got out of a league phase in our second to last year. Okay, lots of incomings and lots of sales, so let's spin through them as fast as we can in our final season. Firstly, our captain Krejci, who we signed from Sparta Prague a few years ago. He's moved to Saudi Arabia to go to Al Nassr for £8 million. Dennis Mann was decent for us, but has now moved as well to the Saudi Arabian divisions for £7.5 million after not playing last year. Our centre-back Rodrigo Becao was now 31 years old, so when Saudi came in and offered him a mega contract, he wanted to go, and we were willing to get rid for £7.25 million. Eric Martel had a year left on his deal and was not willing to sign a new one because he was unhappy at the amount of starts he got, which is strange because he did play 30 times, although only 10 of them were starts, so he has gone to the Danish divisions to play for Copenhagen for 2.2 million. So we needed some new transfers coming in and we ripped through them. Firstly, Gavin Bazunu joining on a free. The Irish goalkeeper is going to be our new man in the net, coming in from Southampton where he didn't really play over the last few years, but he has got decent ability and I'm hoping he can really start to grow and fulfill the potential that he clearly had when he was a younger player. And to back him up, we have signed Abdul Samed Damlu here, a Turkish goalie, just to add some extra depth to the squad in case somehow we lose our keeper again. We have got a second option. I didn't mention, but that goalkeeper cost us 5 million. We spent a similar fee here on Facundo Torres. Now, I don't tend to sign the same players in rebuilds when I can try and avoid it, but this man's been playing so well for Orlando. We signed him on our first rebuild of FM24, so quite a few videos ago, and yeah, he just wasn't getting picked up by any big team. Every year he was appearing on the scout report, so I thought, you know what, a man playing this well, we've got to bring him in. So we did £7 million for Facundo Torres. Hopefully that's going to add a ton of goals to this 11. Currently linked to Real Madrid in real life, we have picked up Gabriel Moscardo here. He's came in from Corinthians for 10.25 million and is going to be the perfect player in that Segundo Volante role, I'm certain of it. We've got a new left back as well, Uruguayan international Joaquin Piqueres here, joining us from Palmeiras in Brazil, which seems to be the place we're going shopping in these rebuilds. 11.25 million for the defender. Yes, he's 28, but he's one of the best our scouts could find. We've got a new centre-back as well, another Brazilian. This time it's Renan, joining us from Flamengo. He'd been to the United Arab Emirates after leaving Palmeiras, went to Flamengo, did really well there, caught the eyes of our scouts, and we've paid 20 million for the young Brazilian defender. And then we have bought in a player that the game described when we signed him as a national icon. Erkan Kokcu has joined us from Benfica, formerly of Feyenoord. He did so well in the Eredivisie and then has continued to do really well in this simulation for Benfica. We've paid £22 million for him, potentially rising to 30. He is an elite player though, and I think he's either going to operate in that 10 role or maybe as the volante, but I think that would really reduce his effectiveness on the team. But we have got the crown of Turkey's national team now. And if we look at our final best 11, not only is the first 11 stacked, but we have some great players on the bench as well. Sancho, Torres, Bacharina, Leonardo, Aslani, Moscardo, Uik, Serda, Renan, Piqueres and Bazunu, with some great talent on the bench as well. And that's not counting all of those players that don't get into the starting 11. We are ready to go this year. What I want to see from this last season is to win the title and the cup and then the Champions League, at least make the quarterfinal. That's going to be the aim. At least then we know we're progressing with this side and we've done a decent job in our seasons here, consistently getting Fenerbahce into the Champions League. But let's see how it goes in our 5th and final season. And you know what? I'm definitely going to take this. We did not reach our goal of winning the Champions League, but we won the Super Cup. We also won the Turkish Cup 2-1 in the final against Besiktas. And in the league, we lost 4 games, drew 1 and got 88 points with a great goal difference as well. It seems to be a great year for us, winning that title again. But the thing I'm happy with, the Champions League, we did not win it, but we made it all the way to the semi-final. The league phase, we came out in 11th place, far better than last season's bottom place with 15 points, 3 draws and 4 wins. That then took us into the knockout playoff round where we faced off against Benfica, beating them 7-4 on aggregate. We then went into the round of 16, knocked out Barcelona 4-2. That's a great result. The quarterfinal we took on Man United and beat them 4-0. The semi-final we did lose to Real Madrid, but only 5-2, who then went on to the final to lose it. But they were the holders of the competition, Real, so it's not the worst thing in the world to be beaten by a mega team like that. But let's have a look at that win against Manchester United, a 4-0 win. Sancho scoring against his old side as well there, getting 2 assists. I'm sure Erik ten Hag was watching that from a distance, very, very upset. But let's watch these goals go in. Firstly, here we have it in the 20th minute. Van Uwijk, our signing from the 2nd season, I think it was, bursting down the right-hand side, plays the cross in. Sancho goes in close and taps in past Onana for an early goal. Then we go all the way into the 74th minute before our second, with Barco picking up the ball. Again, a player that we signed in our first year here, continuing to get better. He plays the cross in, Cengiz Under wins the header, and it's gone in past Altay Bayındır in goal. Obviously, Onana must have got injured, and he is a former Fenerbahce goalkeeper, I believe. Maybe trying to play some mind games with us there by bringing him in, but we do eventually get that second. Here comes a third, Under, putting it past Bayındır, who's having a nightmare in goal, with 2 mistakes, you could argue, leading to goals there. And then in the 90th, Jadon Sancho takes a free kick finds Van der Berg at the back post, and again, you could argue the goalkeeper should be doing better there. But it's been a great season all around. Van der Berg, Leonardo playing really well, Szymanski, I mean, Leonardo, 42 goals this season, exceptional stuff. Moscardo chipped in, Kochu got 19 goals. Interestingly enough, our best performer out of everyone was Mert Mulder, who's just been ticking along since the first season at right back and has had a great year this time out with 10 assists. No idea what's gotten into him. Clearly, some of these new players really like to link up with him, but there's been goals all around the team. We've progressed the club. We've got them into a Champions League semi-final, given them a great night against some of the biggest sides in the world. Barcelona, Man United, all falling to our sword here. Great training facilities being developed. We're upgrading the youth facilities over time as well, and slowly but surely this side is becoming a European superpower. If you do decide to go to the Patreon and continue this rebuild, let me know how you do. Is this side actually ready for a Champions League, or did we fluke it to a semi? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.